Hey everybody, welcome to this commentary for Sanji Rockly. I'm Josh, the director of this.
Hello, hello. It is time for the Death Metal Cast. It's five of us.
My
What the
God.
heck's going on? Wow.
That's
Nonsense.
extra.
It's going to be crazy today.
Yeah.
Prepare yourselves.
Happy holidays from Rooster Teeth. Go to the Rooster Teeth store.
Let's be real. Superheroes with super strength are like rabbits. They're everywhere.
But when a hero uses that strength to inspire others, they truly stand out from the crowd.
Like Ulm, the symbol of peace from My Hero Academia.
And Might Guy, master of ninja combat and bushy brows from Naruto.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Imagine a world where superpowers are common, so-called quirks, which can be trained at distinguished academies in hopes of becoming a superhero.
I know what you're thinking. If everyone's got a power, then no one is super, right? Except most quirks are really lame, like a balloon face or stretchy eyeballs. Ew.
Even then, there are some unlucky few who don't have any quirk at all. You may already know one of these quirkless, Izuku Midoriya. But before him, there came another, one who would change the world. His name is Toshinori Yagi.
Toshinori wasn't a pushover, though. Even without a superpower, he wanted to become the symbol of peace. And thanks to pro hero Nana Shimura, he found a way.
Shimura's quirk had the unique ability to be directly passed on to a new user, and she saw something special in Toshinori. And so, he became the next bearer of One for All.
An ultra powerful quirk that let him become that symbol of peace with a never ending smile on his face. All Might!
I am here!
Now a truly remarkable hero, All Might quickly rose through the local rankings. But fame wasn't the reward he sought. He legitimately just wanted to help people.
Yeah, just look at that big old grin. That's not just for show. He keeps his smile up to make sure the people around him feel safe. And with his powers, why wouldn't they?
All Might can punch with enough force to change the weather, even creating a massive storm once.
It's raining.
Holy crap. He changed the weather.
He can jump so high, people mistake him for flying. You might say they're taking a flying leap in logic.
But along with super strength, One for All includes powers like improved durability, stamina, and speed.
All Might has no problem taking huge hits and fighting villainy in the blink of an eye.
And thanks to his training at UA High School, All Might molded his quirk into an incredible fighting style.
With moves named after the United States? I thought this dude was Japanese.
Well, it's likely a nod to how the US essentially created the modern superhero, like Superman. America's got a sort of superhero monopoly going on.
If I had a quirk like that, I'd name my moves after food. California roll!
Oh my god, it worked!
Going for two. Lobster roll!
Why look? Ah!
Anyway, there's a ton of different switches in All Might's arsenal, covering covering all sorts of states and cities, from Nebraska to Detroit to the Carolinas.
And most of their names actually do describe their results to a certain extent. For example, his Texas and Oklahoma smashes both create variations of tornadoes.
And those two states are smack dab in the crossfire of real-life Tornado Alley. Coincidence? Probably not.
Of course, many of his attacks create targeted gusts of wind, but every smash does have its own unique form of delivery, such as how the Missouri smash is a karate chop, and the New Hampshire smash is a reverse attack meant to send All Might rocketing through the air.
But he's got one mega-sized move that goes beyond all that, or as he calls it, Plus Ultra, the United States of Smash. Because I'm proud to be an American, at least I know I'm free. Oh, God, I love that move.
But he's Japanese.
America, God, United States of motherfucking Smash, yeah.
To determine the power of this epic blow, let's find the volume of the resulting whirlwind by comparing its size to the nearby buildings. Applying the standard height of 3 meters per floor, the whirlwind appears to be at least 2,200 meters tall, giving it a volume of over 10 billion cubic meters. To create a tornado that large, All Might's strike must have equaled a force of over 11,000 tons of TNT.
That's insane. He's got the power of an atomic bomb in his bare fist.
He's also fast enough to run down this stairway in less than half a second, a feat which, given the distance measured, means he can move 29 times faster than sound.
He's in the same league as the supervillain Gigantomachia, who blew up a mountain, and he punched this Nomu guy so hard, he pulled a Team Rocket. Looks like Nomu's blasting up again!
With so much power, All Might remained the #1 hero for years. Unfortunately, success doesn't last forever.
Yeah, he got into a fight that was a bit bigger than even he could handle, and got injured pretty bad.
So bad, in fact, it became difficult for him to use his powers, and drastically limited his full strength.
But hey, don't worry, for Death Battle, we look at each character's peak performance across their whole life.
Right, when fighting Nomu, All Might claimed that what he pulled off in 300 punches, he could have previously done with just 5.
Back in my heyday, 5 hits would have been enough to knock that guy out. But today, it took more than 300 mighty blows.
Taken literally, this means All Might at his best was 60 times more powerful.
But even as a crippled old man, he held on to the #1 spot for a long time. Not because he was taking out more bad guys than the competition, but because he was just so goddamn heroic.
At least until he could find a new successor with a smile on his face. A shining example of what it means to be a true hero, just like himself. In Konohagakure, the village hidden in the leaves, ninja train to use the mysterious arts of ninjutsu and genjutsu.
It's basically ninja magic. Everything from shooting fireballs to messing with your brain.
But some ninja just aren't suited to these difficult techniques. During young Rock Lee's time at the academy, he feared his lacking in these arts meant he would never accomplish his dream of becoming a ninja.
And then he met the one, the only, the bushy Might Guy.
Hey, what's shaking? How you doing, everybody? Life treating you good?
Guy is one of the most respected and powerful ninja among the Hidden League, but he certainly didn't start out that way.
Yeah, he and his dad could never really make all that ninja magic work for them, so they decided to focus on the one thing they were good at, punching people.
This is Taijutsu, or the ninja art of hand-to-hand combat. Dedicating himself to this form over all else, Guy soon became a master in the Taijutsu style Strong Fist.
Which translates to punching people really, really hard. It's a fighting style that is literally all about breaking bones. Yeah, I'll take that over ninja magic, thank you.
That's not to say Guy couldn't perform ninja magic. He's just not very skilled in it. At all.
Yeah, like a bunch of ninja can summon cool shit like tracking hounds or giant toads. Guy can summon a turtle. That's about it.
But mastering the Strong Fist style is a testament to Guy's ability.
Only the toughest people in the world can use it at all. Otherwise, it's, super dangerous. That's the big thing with Guy. Because he's gotta make up for not having ninja magic, everything he does comes with a big risk. Especially his ultimate technique.
Right. Guy's father, Might Guy, was instrumental in helping him achieve the goal of becoming a, quote, splendid ninja. But he also taught him a skill which would prove to be both of their undoing. The 8 Gates.
Wait. Someone named their kid Might Die? What are you, just hedging your bets for the future?
I mean, Die is dead.
Well, then I guess they called it.
The 8 gates refer to the pathways within the human body which contain the flow of chakra, the life energy ninja use for their techniques.
And, to live.
To simplify, by opening each gate, Guy essentially removes inhibitors on his body, greatly increasing his power, speed, and capabilities.
The first few gates are kind of safe, unlocking 100% of the body's abilities. The second one even heals you a bit, but once you get past number 4, things start getting real messy.
At this point, Guy suffers horrible pain and severe muscle tearing. While the power increase is certainly worth the risk in a difficult fight, it's likely to put the user in the hospital afterward.
After opening the 6th gate, he can move so fast his punches ignite the air around him, meaning he can shoot fireballs from his...
That would be the morning peacock technique. To ignite the hydrogen in the air, Guy must be swinging at speeds more than 40,000 per hour. That's over 5 times faster than the X-15 rocket jet, the fastest airplane in the modern world.
And once he opens the 7th gate, he can perform Daytime Tiger, where he throws a giant tiger's face at you. Hell yeah! This beautiful beast is strong enough to blow up an island! Awesome!
While opening the 7th gate would prove fatal for most ninja, Guy is strong enough and skilled enough to wield it without such concern. However, when it comes to the final gate, there is no going back.
With the 8th gate of death, Guy's power explodes. His blood boils, evaporating from his body. Yeah, if you thought that was some Super Saiyan energy aura around him there, think again. It's his blood burning through his skin. Hardcore. Gross, but hardcore.
In this mode, Guy can perform the speedy evening elephant technique, but his most impressive ability is, without a doubt, Night Guy.
Okay, Might Guy, Might Die, and Night Guy? Who's coming up with this shit?
This attack was powerful enough to decimate Madara, one of the deadliest villains in the Naruto universe.
Madara could take on Naruto, who had enough chakra to blow a hole through the moon. Sure, Night Guy's still not as powerful as Naruto once the kid goes all gold and glowy, but it's definitely above Jiraiya's big ball Rasengan carving up a mountain, or Obito raising up a giant tree like a crazy reverse lumberjack.
Despite all this risk, Guy proved himself an equal to some of the greatest ninja of the Hidden Leaf. All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the through all possibilities.
But first, you can get a superhero for yourself to protect your
Don't worry. I am here.
So cool! The amazing costume, those bursting muscles, that magnificent hair. You must be a worthy opponent for an arm wrestling contest.
I accept your challenge.
I can't lose. I have the power of youth on my side.
You're inspiring, but no one can defeat the symbol of peace. Incredible. Let's take this up a notch.
Give me your best shot. I won't hold back. That's a promise.
Wow.
Dynamic entry.
Nice trick. My turn. Texas. You can take a hit well. What are you really made of?
show you exactly how hard I've worked. Sixth Gate of Joy, open!
New Hampshire!
Seventh Gate, open! Daytime Tiger!
This is nothing for a hero like me. Ah, screw it. You wanted my best? Here it is. United States of Smash!
Never give up. Eighth Gate of Death, open.
Still more. Bring it on. Shine! Go beyond! Ultra!
Good fight. Let's do it again.
KO!
Looks like All Might might not be all right.
Well, All Might was an incredibly powerful and inspiring hero. But then again, the same could be said for Guy.
All Might was super strong with plenty of good training. Without his gates, Guy wouldn't have stood a chance.
Right, keep in mind that each of All Might's feats we covered were performed while he was in an injured state. So for this comparison, we multiplied each result by 60 as per All Might's own estimation of his power.
For example, remember how he was similar to Gigantomachia, who busted a hole through a freaking mountain?
By scaling the mountain to the pine trees beneath it, it's easy to deduce the blast necessary for this would be about 2.5 gigatons of TNT.
With the multiplier, that would be 150 gigatons in All Might's prime. That's 3,000 times stronger than the biggest nuke that's ever been set up.
But here's the thing, even with the multiplier, we know Guy was faster. And while they've both learned to fight a wide variety of opponents, Guy was trained all his life and boasted a more versatile set of moves and techniques.
So with that much speed and skill, Guy already had a pretty good advantage, so long as he could hit All Might harder than All Might could hit him. So to answer that, let's check their strongest attacks.
All Might's greatest known feat would be the moment his smash created a massive storm, one that extended beyond the horizon. By taking the average mass of a thunderstorm, which is huge, and the 10 seconds it took for All Might's smash to create it, this comes out to a little over 24 gigatons of TNT. In his prime, this punch would equal over 1,440 gigatons.
28,000 times stronger than the biggest nuke from just one punch. Holy hell!
Unfortunately, it's impossible to lock down a specific number in this way for Guy's strongest attack, Night Guy. However, we can scale him to similar characters we know to be at lesser level. In this case, base form Naruto.
God damn, we can never get away from this little twerp, can we?
Well, Night Guy did serious damage to Madara, whom Naruto's normal abilities stood no chance against. Obviously, Naruto gains a lot more power when he accesses Sage Mode, Kurama Sakura, Six Paths powers, etc. But Night Guy is certainly more powerful than Naruto's base form at the end of the series.
You know that hole in the moon we mentioned? That was made by pulling all of Naruto's base chakra out of his body and flowing it up. I mean, all of it.
Most of his chakra has been siphoned off.
We've actually covered this before, and that blast was 480 petatons of TNT. What's a petaton, you ask? Well, it's a whole lot bigger than a gigaton, that's for sure.
Simply put, the gap in power put Guy several leagues above All Might. Also, Guy's superior speed ensured All Might couldn't avoid such a blow when it really mattered.
Like, you know, in a fight to the death. And yeah, Guy using the 8th gate means he'll die later, but he still won the battle before that would happen. And that's still a victory.
All Might was remarkably powerful and certainly a challenge for Guy. But with his gates open, Guy had the speed, versatility, and power to take him out for good.
It was a mighty tough battle for all, but All Might wasn't a match for one powerful guy.
The winner is Might Guy. Hey, thanks for joining us for another season of Death Battle. Don't go away. We're about to reveal when the next season starts. The finest warriors are never developed on their own, while some are simply molded by their enemies. The best usually seek the wisdom of a master.
Who, for some reason, is a weird old pervert, like Roshi, Turtle Herm teacher to Dragon Ball's greatest hero.
And Jiraiya, the Toad Sage and instructor to the most famous ninja of all.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Goku is, without a doubt, one of the greatest martial arts champions of all time.
Well, yeah, he's good enough to rival gods, become a Super Saiyan, and even met Ultra Instinct.
But he never would have achieved any of it without the guidance of Master Roshi.
A martial artist who's so powerful, there's only one thing in the world that can stop him. Well, two things, really, if you get what I mean.
I know your game, old man, and I don't want to play.
Anyway, when he was a hip youngin', Roshi studied under the legendary Master Potato.
Mutaito.
And a kitty cat. These masters of ass whooping taught Roshi how to weaponize his own life energy, or ki.
Similar to many real-life Chinese martial arts, ki is a vital energy all living beings possess. The stronger and more focused you are, the greater your ki becomes.
Roshi can use his ki to increase his power, pushing past his physical limits with a bunch of awesome techniques. He can fire explosive shots, go buff mode, stun foes with Thunder Shock Surprise, and even seal dangerous enemies away with the evil containment wave.
It wasn't long until Roshi refined these techniques and created his own martial arts style, Turtle School.
Creepy old man turtle school, creepy old man turtle school. Roshi and a half shell, he's a turtle man. No, it's not about beating people up as slow as you can like I first thought. Turtle School, or Kame style, includes everything from tricky pressure point combat to a phony drunken style, which, if you ask me, is just a missed opportunity to get wasted.
By delivering milk up a mountain, plowing a field with bare hands, working construction with simple tools, and being chased by both sharks and bees, all while wearing a 50-pound shell, Roshi's martial art focuses on breaking the wall of humanity in every way. Except for one. Despite most of his students learning it at some point, flight is actually a technique developed by his rivals, the Crane School. Apparently, Roshi's just been a bit too stubborn to properly learn the skill, even after centuries of experience.
How long has he been doing this?
Well, it's a little vague, but thanks to either a pet phoenix he accidentally killed, or serious paradise herb, he's just shy of 360 years old.
Damn! I'm just impressed he can still get it up for the girls after all that time.
Boomstick, that's... Well, I mean, yes, I guess medically speaking it is quite impressive.
Where can I get me some of this paradise grass? I want to be chasing tail for centuries.
Good luck with that. But with all of those years spent honing his talents, Roshi dedicated 50 of them to developing one revolutionary technique.
Kame! Kame! Ha!
Anyway.
Gotcha!
Anyway, to be honest, devastating is an understatement.
Well, yeah, he blew up a whole freaking mountain with it.
This peak was inspired by the real-life flaming mountains in China, standing up to 2,600 feet tall. With this in mind, we can find that to pulverize such a mountain, Roshi's Kamehameha must equal nearly 4 gigatons of TNT.
But that's small stuff compared to the time he obliterated the entire moon in about 5 seconds. That's gotta be worth, what, like 10, 20 mountains? Wiz, how many mountains make a moon?
Well, more like 35 billion. To obliterate the moon in its entirety, the Kamehameha must have struck it with a force akin to 3 octillion tons of TNT.
That's 27 zeros, by the way. Holy shit, Roshi's also super fast. He can fight an entire battle in a blink of an eye.
Which might seem crazy, but Roshi is also able to snatch bullets out of the air that are fired at him from point-blank range.
That gun looks like a British Sten, which can fire up to 600 rounds per minute at a muzzle velocity of nearly 1,200 feet per second.
That means Roshi would have to react to the first bullet within 5 milliseconds. Additionally, each consecutive bullet would reach him just shy of 17 milliseconds apart. The maximum distance between any given shot looks to be about 3 feet, which means he would have to be moving at 180 feet per second in order to catch them all.
Oh, if my hands could move that fast, I'd finally stop getting married.
This speed is far from his limit, but Roshi's true talent is ensuring his students grow further and further than himself every day. Sadly, Roshi's frailty of age means his body can't always express just how powerful he really is.
And using too much ki energy can cause all sorts of problems, like when his master Pistachio died using the Evo containment wave.
But while Roshi's pupils may surpass him, he remains one of the smartest fighters on Earth.
He's tough enough to take down dozens of Frieza's soldiers and survived a beatdown from an alternate universe wannabe Frieza. He even took a barrage of death rays like a champ, the same move that killed Vegeta many years ago.
And in the Dragon Ball Super manga, Roshi is shown to be so collected in battle, his movements sort of emulate those of Ultra Instinct.
Yeah, that's not technically canon, but it does go to show how far Roshi's training can take him.
And it's safe to say that this old, perverted, but genius of a man will never stop training. Among the ninja of the Hidden Leaf Village, few are quite as impressive as Naruto Uzumaki.
Yeah, I know that's crazy, cause, but not just anyone can fight aliens on the moon and become president of Hidden Valley Ranch.
Naruto would become the Hidden Leaf's greatest champion and 7th Hokage, but this would never have been possible without his training under the dynamic Toad Sage and legendary Sannin, Jiraiya the Gallant.
Gallant, huh? Hey, Wiz, why do the most badass old dudes always turn out to be weird pervs?
Well, don't let his crude demeanor fool you.
Oh, don't worry about me, Wiz. This ain't my first trip to Secret Leaf Ninja Town. Nothing surprises me anymore. What the f***? Anyway, Jiraiya originally learned the Shinobi Way from the 3rd Hokage, who taught him how to use his chakra to do ninja magic.
Similar to ki, chakra is a form of life energy. In Hindu and Buddhist theologies, chakras are, in simplistic terms, gates within the human body, which can be embraced to achieve enlightenment. However, in the world of Naruto, chakra is used to perform amazing ninja techniques called jutsus.
Gesundheit.
Thank you. Like most ninja, Jiraiya learned about 4 types of jutsus. Taijutsu, or hand-to-hand combat, ninjutsu, harnessing chakra as elemental weapons and tools, genjutsu, which covers illusion and mental manipulation, and senjutsu, a method of utilizing naturally occurring energy as an extension of one's self.
Jiraiya mastered as many styles as he could, and even learned one of the greatest ninjutsu attacks out there, the Rasengan. With this, he gathers his chakra into a spinning orb of death modeled off the ultra-destructive tailed beast bomb. And that thing can wipe out a whole village all at once. And on the weird side, he can sharpen his twisted sister mane into a shield like a porcupine and fire.
Possessing a keen and mischievous mind, Jiraiya spent plenty of time developing brand new techniques, such as the invisibility jutsu, which you'd think would be perfect for stealth or assassination missions, but he actually developed it specifically for,
research? Where else is a self-respecting writer supposed to get his, inspiration from?
Clearly, Jiraiya sometimes took his tinkering a bit too far. On one such occasion, he accidentally teleported himself to a mystical land full of giant talking toads.
Is you sure jutsu isn't just like another name for crack?
After befriending the toads, Jiraiya trained under the sage Fukasaku,
where he learned a bunch of fire release techniques, like the toad oil bullet and flame bullet attacks. Now that's one impressive loogie.
Jiraiya entered a pact with the toads, lured ways and summoning them to the field of battle, as his own talents relied on trickery over brute force, such as hiding in shadows and manipulating his opponent's movements. The powerful toads were perfect allies. He can trap his foe inside a toad's throat, transform them into toads for interrogation, or even call Antic Amphibian Warrior to his side.
Like the biggest grump you've ever seen. Gamabunta!
I am the wise and powerful Lord Gamabunta, the Chief Toad, and you're an idiot! Now shut up!
Gamabunta, you crusty old toad.
And through Fukasaku's teachings, Jiraiya perfected the art of Senjutsu. Through their combined efforts, he entered a new mighty form called Sage Mode.
Well, it takes a long time to get into. Sage Mode Jiraiya can do all sorts of things he couldn't before.
Like the unpredictable martial art frog. All right, the combatants are set. Let's end this debate once and for all.
But first, if you're as hungry as I am for this fight, you may be menu and get your first 3 meals for blueapron.com/battle. That's blueapron.com/battle to get your first 3 meals free. But right now, it's time for a death battle!
Ooh, this store's really close by. I don't know why.
Who's this geezer?
Hey, Phosphor Range, where are the pictures? It's just words in here.
Pictures. You fool! Words paint up beautiful pictures all by themselves!
Please, don't take it personally. Not like you wrote the damn thing.
But I did! You're stuck now, Baldy. Woo! Shadow Clone Jutsu!
Rasengan!
Summoning Jutsu!
Jiraiya, you buffoon! What's this about?
Hey there! Can you buy me some time?
What? I'm not your servant. I'm the Chief Toad. Get off my lawn! Water style, liquid bullet! He's a quick one. Enough containment way! Screw you pervert!
Only a coward lets others do their fighting for them.
You have no idea. I've been back on the beach the whole time. You old fool. I can't believe you fell that. Let's end this. What?
Talk about a whole new way to win.
Jiraiya was certainly one of the most powerful warriors of his own world, but there's no question that Roshi's sheer might outclassed him.
One guy can break a mountain, the other can break a moon. So that was pretty obvious.
The speed comparison wasn't quite so clear-cut, though. While his unseen battle with Krillin was incredibly quick, Roshi's never personally shown speeds as fast as the light feats Jiraiya scaled.
But he did hold his own in the tournament power against Planet and Galaxy Busters. Also, in Goku's training right after Korin's, he actually had to dodge lightning. Roshi's own training didn't stop after chasing the kitty around, and neither did his kitty chasing. So, scaled to Goku's progress, it makes sense that he'd be able to match Jiraiya's speed, and probably even surpass it.
Still, it would be reasonable to believe Jiraiya could use his technical talent to outsmart and outlast Roshi.
Except Roshi's a smart fighter too. Not only does he have way more experience thanks to his super age, but he's got an eye for traps in sticky situations, like when he figured out the illusion powers of the talisman fighter Derkori.
And remember, it took only 15 seconds. This episode of Death Battle is sponsored by 23andMe. It's that time of the year again. Everybody likes a personalized gift, and what's more personal than your DNA?
Wiz, don't make it.
A select few have the honor of being called Prodigy.
But being a prodigy can get to one's head, or one's head, if you know him. Because you know, the guy who made both these characters is called one. So, yeah.
Mob, the reluctant psychic powerhouse from Mob Psycho 100.
And Tatsumaki, the fearless, ferocious Esper from One Punch Man. He's with Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. As a citizen of Seasoning City, you would probably be familiar with the local criminal group Claw.
Maybe even the famous sex symbol and so-called greatest psychic of the century, Reagan.
But you probably wouldn't think twice about this plain-looking boy with a bowl cut, Shigeo Kageyama.
Long story short, he's a pretty unremarkable student of Salt Middle School. He's the kid you picked last for dodgeball. He's just sort of scared, taking up space and stealing your air.
The kanji in his name can even be misread as Mob, which means bland and boring.
Naturally, everybody calls him that.
So you might be surprised to learn that he accidentally took over a local gang, unintentionally founded his own cult, and is an incredibly powerful psychic warrior.
Don't get it mixed up. This isn't your typical superhero secret identity shenanigans. Bob doesn't really give a shit about any of these things. He's just out there trying to fit in by joining the Body Improvement Club, which he sucks horribly at. Oh, come on, man. Running's not that hard. Take it from me, and I've got a shotgun for a leg.
Still, when his life is in danger or his friends need protecting, Mob's psychic ability manifests as something truly phenomenal.
He's mega powerful. He might be able to run a mile without fainting, but he totally can if he boosts his body psychically. He can fly through the air, fling objects all over the place, throw psychic energy attacks, lift giant buildings, cause city-spanning earthquakes, whip up huge twisters, and more.
He's not just an offensive powerhouse, he can mold his psychic energy around his body as a shield. While this isn't an uncommon technique in Mob's world, it's incredibly useful for him in particular, as he's one of the few psychics who can actually attack and defend simultaneously.
Like when he was fighting a bunch of evil spirits all at once. Oh, talk about weird looking. Wiz, you sure he's not just like tripping balls or something?
No, but you're kind of on the right track. These psychic powers are directly linked to emotions. The more sad, angry, rejected, and so on that you feel, the more powerful your psychic abilities become.
Hey, Wiz, punch me.
What?
Punch me! I need to get really angry so I can do psychic stuff. Really? My Grant can hit harder than you. Wow, you think it'll work if I'm just so embarrassed about having a friend like you? Wow.
Regardless, the fact that Mob's psychic powers are drawn from his emotions is a conundrum in and of itself. See, when Mob was a child, an attempt to use his powers wound up injuring his younger brother. This tragedy would scar Mob forever, terrifying him of his own ability. As a result, he suppressed his emotions for years.
But just like a needy ex, they'd still boil up in bad situations. Us readers got to see them rise with a handy percentage counter. When it hits 100%, Mob goes all out like a Super Saiyan. He can even absorb psychic energy while in 100 mode.
But that's not Mob's limit. Far from it. Suppressing his powers had an unprecedented effect on his psyche. His power became an entity of its own within Mob's mind, representative of his repressed self.
And when things get real bad, it takes over his body in a blind rage or sadness, whatever he's feeling at the time.
In this unmeasurable state, Mob's true prowess is revealed, and it's ignorant. His sheer psychic aptitude increases at an alarming rate, including his absorption ability.
My powers are being sucked in by Kageyama. All of the energy in the atmosphere. Are you telling me his vessel is able to handle this much?
And while he is unconscious while his inner self takes over, his questionable state will continue trying to achieve whatever his most recent objective may be, whether that's taking on the criminal organization Claw or confessing how he feels to his crush.
All right, I get it. The guy's super strong. So let's figure out just how much psychic power he's got bottled up. Check this out. While smashing this ugly joke through a building, he went from 0 to kick-ass so fast he caught fire.
Taking this feat literally, to get this result, he would have to be reaching an ablation speed over 5 times the speed of sound.
Fast, but not as fast as a bolt of lightning, which he was quick enough to catch with his shield.
That's not all. In his duel with Claw's boss, Toichiro, Mob took this huge crushing hit, scaling this massive handprint crater to a nearby building, that one, and applying the resulting fragmentation of rock. We found Mob survived an attack worth over 80 tons of TNT.
Nah, that's small time for Shiggy. In the same fight, he psycho lifted hundreds of buildings into the air. Look at that thing! Suddenly, I have an unshakable urge to go play Katamari Damacy. Somehow, these things will make some stars.
Ahem, not only is that millions of tons of stone and concrete, but simply creating this orb pushed away the clouds.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. Guys, that's not impressive. Clouds are just fluffy balls of cotton candy. Now, I hear you. I thought so too. But turns out, that's not true at all. Unfortunately, to move clouds in real life, you need a freaking hydrogen bomb.
So it's quite impressive when on another occasion, Mob gathered all these clouds himself. By measuring the area and multiplying by average cloud density, this feat comes out to around 30 gigatons of TNT.
20 times the combined destructive capabilities of all the nuclear warheads in the world.
Granted, Mob isn't all powerful. For example, once while absorbing an explosive attack, he reached a definitive limit, though he compensated by redirecting all that psychic energy into some broccoli seeds, with interesting results.
Oh man, it's gonna be hard to hide that one under the table.
In time, Mob eventually reconnected with his repressed self, fully accepting his past and his powers.
So look out, he may look like a total dork, but this is one middle schooler you don't want to try stealing lunch money from.
Can you feel it? Rage burning in me.
In a world filled with monsters and villains which threaten the survival of humanity on a daily basis, it's a stroke of luck that mankind has its fair share of saviors in the form of superheroes.
And some of these heroes are so powerful they can crush all the baddies without even laying a finger on them.
These are Espers, superhumans who possess powerful psychic abilities.
And one of them is a girl named Tatsumaki. Ah! What the? Is that real? Why did she have cinnamon rolls stuck on her face?
Well, let's just say one is more well known for his excellent storytelling than, say, his art. Regardless, Tatsumaki's psychic abilities were extraordinary, even at a young age. So much so, she was taken from her family to be detained and studied at a research facility. She was 7 years old.
So, not the best childhood, obviously. Lucky for her, she got out thanks to a surprise rescue by the hero called Blast. Who blasts things, I guess? No one really knows.
Either way, Blast's rescue changed Tatsumaki's life forever, and he left her with one very important lesson. When the time comes, don't expect someone to save you.
That's kinda harsh. He is supposed to be a superhero, right?
Whether it be she was inspired by his heroism or torn by his contradiction, Tatsumaki decided to take up hero work for herself. Thus, she took up the mantle, Tornado of Terror.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Doesn't that sound more like a supervillain name? And you might mistake her for one too, cause she's kind of a brat.
Well, she is the best at what she does, and she knows it. So she often seems arrogant and rude. With her psychokinesis, she often floats above her opponents, looking down on them literally and figuratively.
Her favorite thing to do is throw rocks at people. Big rocks, small rocks, rocks from outer space, doesn't matter. If it's vaguely rock-shaped, it's flying at you. But she doesn't discriminate. She's also fine throwing other things like trains, schools, people, even a giant octopus.
Not only that, but she can alter the direction of gravity, create barriers, twist up a human body, cause magnitude 8 level earthquakes, and spin up enormous whirlwinds. Fitting for her namesake.
And that's not even half of it. She's the most powerful Esper of them all, even better than her older sister, Fubuki.
Actually, that's her younger sister.
Wait, what? Man, anime's real confusing.
But given her past, even with her sister beside her, Tatsumaki has trust issues.
She doesn't even want Fubuki to have friends. Chill out, lady. Friends are important. Right, Wiz?
I'm sorry, what?
Oh. Well, he had his chance.
Anyway, manipulating objects and organisms is only part of her skill set. Tatsumaki's power truly shines when it comes to precision.
Oh yeah, she's so talented, she can use her crazy mind power to have full control over television!
Yeah, sure, but that's not really what I had in mind.
Change!
Well, Tatsumaki has some level of control over a person's chi, or as it's known in traditional Chinese culture, vital life force. If she can overpower her opponent, she can use their own chi to disable or even kill them.
I did it! I'm psychic!
Against other espers, she can spiral her own energy to redirect theirs, and even suppress their powers in an instant.
Yeah, Lady Tornado can block their psychicness whenever she wants, so long as they're a weaker esper than her, which basically means everyone. One Punch Man, meet the One Thought Woman. Seriously, this chick is so powerful she pulled a meteor from outer space.
Well, while that move is pretty well known, it technically is not canon to the original source material. However, that doesn't off the table. As it turns out, her other accomplishments prove she's more than powerful enough to pull it off.
Just look at her lifting up this. What am I looking at here?
Good question. Thankfully, one was kind enough to include these lovely labels identifying Z-City and an underground hideout. Now, Tatsumaki is psychokinetically lifting the entire hideout, which was previously stated to reach over 1,500 meters deep. As for the city, the world of One Punch Man is based on real-life locations in Tokyo. So at the very least, we could compare Z-City's smaller district like Ginza, which consists of about 215 acres. With the size of an average building in that district in mind, and thus scaling the building to the hideout and then to Ginza, we found that Tatsumaki must be lifting over 3 billion tons of rock.
That's like lifting the entire Great Wall of China 62 times. More than powerful enough to pull a meteor from the sky.
When the alien invader Boros attacked City A with a hailstorm of giant bullets, she was fast enough to stop them in midair and turn them back on the enemy ship. Scaling these bullets to the height of a human and gauging by the amount of damage they could cause, the bullets must have been moving 1,800 times faster than sound.
She's tough enough to survive an attack that's 300 times the Earth's gravity, which probably explains why she could push through crazy G-forces while flying and fighting against the One Punch Man himself, Saitama.
By looking at the distance they flew in such a short time frame, they were likely moving more than 36 times the speed of sound.
Which is awesome, but she still didn't win the fight.
It was actually a rather humbling experience for her, finally realizing that perhaps she isn't the most powerful person alive.
I mean, all espers have limits, including Tatsumaki. Their psychic power drains them of energy, so they can get worn out to a point where they can't do psycho magic for a while.
Also, she generally has to focus exclusively on either offense or defense. So when she's on the attack, her guard is lowered, something a skilled enough opponent can certainly take advantage of. Also, should an esper like Tatsumaki suffer a serious head injury, their powers become more difficult to use.
So maybe she's not quite the unstoppable goddess she thought she was. And after getting that memo, she finally loosened up a bit. She even let her sis hang out with her friends instead of throwing them into a wall or something. Aww.
Yet, at the end of the day, the idea that anyone could even hope to match the Tornado of Terror's pure psychic power seems laughable.
You disgust me. Get lost.
What's with the attitude from this lost child?
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
But first, my mental powers are telling me that some of you are hungry.
By now, you've probably heard of Blue Apron, the leading meal kit delivery service.
Choose your meals each week, get the ingredients delivered to your doorstep, and whip up a meal you...
Oh, I'm lost.
What are you doing, dummy? Get out of here.
Can you help me? Do you go to the middle school here?
Middle school? Know your place.
You shouldn't use your powers on others.
You think you're impressive? I'll crush you in 5 seconds flat.
Time to teach you a lesson.
What?
By the way, just so you know, this is your fault.
How easy. Huh? You think you're a big shot? Try this! You should pay more attention. Nobody beats me.
Whoa, that was crazy! I thought for sure Mob would win with his sucking power.
This was an incredibly close match. Honestly, if we were to run through this fight 100 more times, Mob could reasonably win 40 or so of them.
But we're not here to find out who wins 40% of the time. Mob had tons of awesome abilities, which gave Tatsu her time, but she still has the stuff to pull off a win more times than not.
Right. First of all, Tatsumaki had a notable advantage when it came to training and experience.
She's a top-ranked superhero who was trained from 7 years old, fighting a middle schooler who never wanted to use his powers in the first place.
She was faster too, given her reaction against Boros' bullets moving over 617,000 meters per second.
Sure, Mob reacted to friggin' lightning, but believe it or not, that's still technically slower.
See, a lightning bolt technically has two different speeds to consider. First, for the slower leader of ionized air going down, and second, for the faster flash going up. Given that Mob was reacting to a projectile moving down towards him, this can only mean he was reacting to the leader, which moves 98,000 meters per second, more than 6 times slower than Tatsumaki.
So, even though Mob had the edge of being able to attack and defend at the same time, Tatsumaki was a lot quicker than him, so she could switch between attacking and defending fast enough to counter Mob whenever she really needed to.
Still, that alone doesn't mean Mob couldn't have eventually scored a fatal blow. All of this would mean nothing if Tatsumaki couldn't overpower Mob's absorbing shield.
His awesome power of suck!
Right. We know Mob's sucking shield had a limit given how he was forced to transfer absorbed energy into those seeds, growing a massive head of broccoli in an instant. We can actually use this broccoli to get a general idea of Mob's absorbing limits. Broccoli typically requires 143 kilojoules of energy to grow 1/10 of a kilogram's worth. Scaling this giant one to the nearby buildings, we found it to be 21 million times larger than the average broccoli. This means Mob transferred enough energy to equate to about 1.6 megatons of TNT.
Yeah, but how about the energy in those giant bullets? Those things are... Things are huge solid shells with no explosive component, given how Saitama here was able to...
Happy holidays from Rooster Teeth. Go to the Rooster Teeth store.
But for some people, they're more like guidelines.
Never.
You sure this is gonna work? This will shut him up for good?
Trust me, it's the perfect plan.
Okay then, let's get started.
To most of us, the laws of reality are unbending rules we never question.
Even for us, but some people, they're more like guidelines.
Such as Deadpool, Marvel's Merc with a micro penis.
And the Mask, a total head who just oozes big dick energy.
Huh, could have sworn that would get his attention.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win
my third death battle. Ha! Wait, what was that about a micro penis?
Every famous superhero has a special something which makes them recognizable. Some are gothic knights of darkness, a showcase of order versus chaos. Some are instantly relatable, a prime example of an average person in a not-so-average world.
And some shoved in your face over and over and over again until you just can't take it anymore.
Oh, shucks. Are you talking about me? You're such a sweet talker.
Go away.
We've been through this, but why stop a good thing? Hi, I'm Wade Wilson, masterful mercenary and twice robbed of winning People Magazine's Sexiest Man Alive award. Way back, I got stuck in a seriously shitty situation called cancer. The worst supervillain. But then the good folks of Department K offered me a cure. Sounded great. Until I learned the big plot twist.
Department K was actually a sect of the Weapon X program, a top secret project for crafting super soldiers by any means necessary.
They shot Wade up with 50 cc's of hot, creamy Wolverine juice. It gave him the same crazy healing factor, but also turned his face into an improv comedy prompt.
You look like an avocado. Had sex with an older, more disgusting avocado.
Yeah. After escaping in gruesome fashion, Wade resumes life as a mercenary, taking the name Deadpool.
He's got your standard superhuman buffs. Super strength, super speed, super toughness, the works. But he put that super swagger to use as an expert martial artist. So it's hard to tell sometimes because he lets himself get hit a lot.
Hey, when you have a healing factor that would make even Logan's nuclear charred adamantium skeleton blush, you let yourself know sandwich every once in a while. I've survived gunshot wounds, impalement, organ destruction, stupefaction, and even freaking disintegration. Good luck trying to take me out.
Don't take all the credit for yourself. You know you were cursed with everlasting life by Thanos during some of that.
Yeah, well, me and Space Grimace have a really deep relationship. About as deep as I am and his girlfriend. Hey-oh!
Good thing Thanos removed the curse so we could violently murder you.
An impulse I deeply empathize with.
Well, as much as I like getting resurrected after that, I like doing the opposite to other people even more. As in killing them. With weapons, especially my lovely golden girls, Bee and Arthur.
That would be his katanas, which are almost unbreakable thanks to an energy field from his suit. Fully charged, they can even cut the Hulk.
Even then, Deadpool is a walking arsenal with enough machine guns, sniper rifles, grenades, rocket launchers, tranquilizers, etc. to take out a small country.
And if I'm feeling cute, I might delete you later with any one of the wacky weapons of mass destruction I picked up on my misadventures. Like a gun that wipes you from history, the actual Venom symbiote, and the 7th Infinity Stone, the Continuity Gem. It rewrites canon itself and could even make Wiz and Broomstick bearable co-hosts. I mean, maybe.
Oh yeah? Well, let's go over some of these feats of yours. Take it away, Wiz.
With pleasure. Deadpool has showcased his impressive super strength when, at one point, he stood up straight, without aid. Based on Deadpool's cannon weight and examining the distribution of mass here, we can deduce his legs can support 210 pounds, or just under 100 kilograms.
Wait, what?
Oh, or how about the time he held up this pistol? That's a Desert Eagle Mark 19, which weighs 72 whole ounces. Amazing!
Guys, what the hell? You know I can kick people through concrete walls and yank around a 6-ton helicopter, right?
Here we can see him running, much like typical human beings run. And the average male running speed is about 9.4 kilometers per hour.
Hey, I was out running a goddamn airplane. Do you know how fast airplanes are? Jesus H. Christ almighty, do some research for once, you frauds.
Jokes aside, Deadpool can move faster than the eye can track. He's caught Captain America's shield, which Cap can throw fast enough to slice through tanks. He's dodged the electric-powered mutant Surge's lightning blasts. If these are anything like the leaders of real lightning, they could be moving over 98,000 meters per second.
Deadpool's a tough son of a bitch, too. He's survived a sunburn from a freaking space laser, getting crushed under the Chrysler building, and an explosion that cratered an entire city block. Just look at the size of that.
Measuring the crater's volume and applying statistics for pulverization of rock, the explosion must have equaled about 130 tons of TNT.
That's like getting hit in the face with 22 monster trucks driving at top speed, all at the same time.
But Deadpool isn't perfect. Far from it, obviously. Unlike Wolverine, his chemically induced healing factor isn't a natural evolution, and so it seriously damaged his brain. Which explains a lot.
This guy isn't just annoying as balls. He's legit insane. Talk about a triple combination.
Well, Deadpool's insanity leads him to talk to seemingly invisible people. Namely, the writers and editors of each comic book he's in.
I mean, is it really insane if it's true? That's even how he got rid of the Continuity Gem. By literally handing it over to the editor.
While his broken mind and daredevil attitude makes him incredibly unpredictable, it can often put him in over his head. Plus, while his healing factor is quite potent, it's not an instant quick fix.
That's why he prefers to reattach his limbs rather than wait for them to regrow.
Am I crazy? Or is your head really small?
That's not pleasant.
His biggest weakness, though, is that he's a dumb internet meme and he should feel bad about it.
And using this mathematical formula, taking account of Deadpool's abundance in media, we can quantify exactly how dumb he is.
You know, I've done this death battle bullshit 3 times now, and can I just say, I hope you douchebags never change. I love it. I'll be over there chomping on popcorn and chimichangas while your heads explode trying to figure out how I could possibly lose this one. Toodles.
Good riddance.
Deadpool may be an annoying clown who has menaced Marvel's good and bad sides for decades, but he's also had sex with my mom over 100 times and made her moan like, hey, who changed the prompter? Come back here, you son of a bitch!
Psychologist Carl Jung once described the persona as a kind of mask, designed on the one to make a definite impression on others, and on the other to conceal the true nature of the individual.
Right.
Basically, who we are on the inside is different than who we are on the outside. But what if putting on a mask could actually reveal what was underneath it?
Underneath the mask? You mean your face?
I don't even know how to start to answer that.
Use your mouth, it's on your face. Well, while Wiz is trying to figure out how masks work, dumbass, let's talk about one mask in particular, the mask.
Its origins are shrouded in mystery. Some say it was used as part of an African tribal ritual. Others say it was created by Loki, the Norse god of mischief.
Who knows and who cares? It wound up in the hands of Stanley Ipkiss, the slubbiest, dorkiest loser this side of Deadpool.
Regenerating degenerates have feelings too, you know.
Curious, Stanley donned the mask and was transformed from an everyman to a Superman.
Bokehead!
And now he's a big green cartoon character the media dubbed Big Head.
But you can just call him the Mask. With his newfound powers, Stanley would take on the mob, get the girl, and live happily ever after. Right?
Don't let the family movie fool you. Sorry, movies. I always forget that second one.
Don't blame you. This ain't your silly Steamboat Willie shenanigans. Get ready for some good old-fashioned hardcore violence.
See, the mask itself is alive, and it desires nothing more than absolute carnage. By tapping into its wearer's repressed id, it can turn a nebbish nobody like Stanley into a rampaging serial killer.
Complete with Bugs Bunny powers. Horrifying.
Metafictional combat scientists like myself have long speculated about a unifying theory that could explain the source of the mask's powers. We call this phenomenon Toon Force. Think of characters such as Bugs Bunny, Popeye, and Michael Jordan. A being that wields Toon Force seems capable of accomplishing almost anything they desire, so long as they find it humorous. With this power, the mask can manipulate the laws of physics whenever he likes, even breaking the fourth wall.
Oh, God, no, he can break it too. You never said anything about that, and now we've got 2 of them.
Don't forget about me!
2 of them.
Regardless, Toon Force allows the mask to summon any kind of weapon imaginable from thin air.
Everything from oversized guns and rocket launchers to whoopee cushions, dynamite, anvils, hell, anything from the good fellas at Acme.
Toon Force users can manipulate their bodies in any way they like, whether it be stretching their limbs, inflating themselves like a balloon, or shape-shifting into giant monsters.
And best of all, you can't really hurt a Toon. Well, at least not in a normal way.
Right, it's not that the mask has a specific healing factor or some such. It's more like he can just say no to damage.
He's had holes blown in him, had his head cut off, stripped his flesh from his bones, and was blown up into a bloody pulp. He can outpace Lobo, remember him? Because he doesn't need to wait for his body to heal. It just happens.
However, the scariest thing about the mask's use of Toon Force is how it affects the world around him. In most cases, the rules of Toon Force are applied to the user and whomever or whatever the force is affecting.
This even happens in the movie. Man, look at her go!
But in the true canon of the mask, this is not the case. And this leads to some, well, horrific imagery. The mask can pick up cars and knock over buildings with ease. He can dodge point-blank bullets and run fast enough to set the ground on fire. He has survived massive explosions, giant robots, and being kicked in the testicles so hard he flew.
Out of all the gore in those comics, that is the worst thing I've seen yet. But remember what we said before about him fighting Lobo, the guy who ate a city?
At one point, Lobo and the Mask raced around the entire planet several times in the span of just a few seconds, and then crashed into each other in an absolutely gargantuan blast. Based on their after-trail rings, and given an estimated time frame of less than half a minute, which fits given the context, they must have been going over 9 million meters per second.
What a couple of scamps.
There's only one way to really stop the mask, and that's by removing the mask itself.
Good luck trying. The only way is if the wearer has already decided to let it come off. And with the power it gives, who'd want to?
Technically, the conscience of the person the mask possesses still exists, and could be reasoned with or tricked into removing the mask.
Like when Lobo threw a guilt bomb at him after he murdered hundreds of people.
But the mask itself has an astronomically powerful influence on its host.
Right. I mean, who doesn't like letting loose every once in a while? We've covered a lot of vicious murderers on the show, but I've never seen one who has as much fun with it as the mask.
Let's rock this joint!
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
But first, I've got a hunger for some...
I swear if you cut the commercial, I'll strangle you both with an actual Blue Apron.
By now, you've probably heard of Blue Apron, the leading meal kit delivery service in the U.S.
Choose your meals each week, get the ingredients delivered to you. But right now, it's time for a death battle!
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got in this mess. But there's only enough funding for a few minutes of animation, so we're skipping that part.
Okay.
All right, Majora's Mistake. You've got one chance to take that off.
Penis metaphor!
Huh?
Ah! Woo! What a ride!
I must break you.
Got it. Actually, that's not canon. Let's just say I know the right people. With this continuity jam, I can rewrite anything I think needs fixing. I could stop Hitler from being born, rewrite the Star Wars prequels, or even make you take off that mask.
No! Stop it! No!
This is over.
Oh, wow! You weren't kidding! Ah, Beans, we're in the storyboards! Old chum, I think that zany stunt of yours ran out the budget. Can't make the scene if you don't have the green. Lucky for you, I have an idea!
Ah, that's it.
Honey bun, we're good to go!
What? Where'd you get that?
Oh, Jack! I'm already wearing it!
Look at the sky, he isn't me. Although the internet thinks he might be. Perhaps I've gone too far, far from my reality.
I'll do this right. I'm not a joke. What even is a chimichanga? Fuck you. Indeed.
Who's next?
KO!
Yes, he's gone! He's finally gone! He can never bother us again! Why don't I feel as awesome as I should?
To be fair, given his more robust history, Deadpool held a solid advantage in experience and skill. He was relatively smarter and more mentally put together in comparison, so it's possible he could have outsmarted the Mask if given the chance.
Yes, if that chance was never gonna come. He had some really cool feats of strength and speed, but the Mask blew him out of the water. Like, who cares that Deadpool pulled around a 6-ton copter when the Mask knocked over a building weighing over 1,000 tons? And comparing their speed, he's 100 times faster too. Like, there's no contest.
Not to mention the size of the blast from the Mask and Lobo's collision equals 322 teratons of TNT, trillions of times greater than Deadpool's asteroid feat.
Whiz stuff, none of that matters. It is stupid. We pit Deadpool against a cartoon god. Like you said, the Mask could just say no to damage. Deadpool couldn't even really hurt him. This whole thing was a blowout, a total stomp.
No, I mean, I guess you're right. We're supposed to be impartial, and we went too far. But Boomstick, it's too late to change it.
There's no way to mask what we've done.
The winner is...
What the hell?
Dear Wiz and Boomstick, I know our relationship has been a rocky one, but I just wanted to say thanks. Thanks for helping me rediscover who I am, who I really am. Past decade of memes and cosplays and Hot Topic shirts changed me, and I couldn't see it on my own. You made me remember my true self, missing feet and all. And with some help from this royalty-free Sarah McLachlan ripoff song, I hope you can find in your hearts your true selves too. Sayonara, Death Battle. Sayonara.
I can't believe I'm saying this, Wiz, but I wish he was still around.
Yeah, me too. Oh no!
Oh, yeah! The winner is me!
Hey, thanks for watching this interesting episode. If you want the battle music for yourself, you can get it by clicking the link